There's an island close to me.
The Esplanade, the Singapore Flyer, and the Malayan.
そうだ、週末シンガポールにマラヤン見に行こうよ。
マラヤン？そんなの向こうに来てもらってくれよ。
おはようございます。
おはようございます。
早速読んでいきたいと思います。はい。
All modern Singaporean icons that the world can associate with the sights and sounds of Singapore. But what about the iconic taste of Singapore?
In Singapore, all of the boys want more. More of the cold drink in the summertime. The Singapore Sling made with gin and lime.
That's where Mr. Chow Hoo Siong comes in. You see, he has bottled the Singapore Sling cocktail and is dead set on getting Singaporeans and the world reacquainted with the drink. Welcome to the show, guys. Brian Silver, R.age TV. You know, Singapore Sling is one of those iconic cocktails which is known around the world. And I'm here with one Singaporean that has actually bottled that cocktail, and his goal is actually to be an ambassador of Singapore to the world. I'm here with Mr. Chow Hoo Siong. He's the CEO of True Heritage Brew Singapore. Welcome to the show, Mr. Chow.
Thank you.
What was your driving passion to actually bottle Singapore Sling? Because there's so many cocktails in Singapore. Why do you bottle Singapore Sling? Why do you choose that one cocktail?
I'm a Singaporean. I found out since student days that it's easier to have a drink in my hand to talk about my country, and also by way of introducing my country, you know. And I found out that a lot of people from overseas, they know about Singapore Sling more so than they know about the country Singapore. And I thought it's a great way to talk about my country Singapore, you know, through Singapore Sling.
Like an icebreaker sort of
like
thing.
icebreaker, yes, yeah. So that's how I started doing this Singapore Sling.
Can you tell me your first experience actually tasting Singapore Sling? When was that?
Oh, that is in the early 80s.
Early 80s?
Yes.
Okay, what was your first experience? You tasted it? Because some people say Singapore Sling is either too strong, some people find it too strong, or some people find it too sweet.
When I tasted it, my first impression was it's refreshing.
Yeah.
And also, I think the end taste is actually a bit bitter. So then, when I go and do the research on the formulation, then I realized that is supposed how it's supposed to taste, you know, because Singapore Sling contains gin, cherry brandy, the Cointreau, and of course the most important is the grenadine syrup that give the red and the sweetness, and also the Angostura bitter that give it the the bitter aftertaste.
It's believed that the Singapore Sling was created by Ngiam Tong Boon, a Hainanese Chinese bartender working at the Long Bar in Raffles Hotel. Sometime between 1910 to 1915, a British officer challenged Ngiam to create a cocktail for a certain young lady that had caught the officer's eye. Fast forward to present day, and as fate had it, another challenge was faced by Chow. Although his company True Heritage Brew had managed to adapt and bottle the original recipe as a premix in the 1980s, one important ingredient proved difficult to include in a finished bottled drink. How do you combat actually the fact that it has pineapple juice inside there, and pineapple is perishable? So how do you actually bottle it and make sure that the drink doesn't go bad?
About 2 years ago, we realized that actually when we have the original mix, the job hasn't complete yet, because you still have the juice in it, and of course you can add more of the mix or less of the, there's still the inconsistency there. We were saying that probably the best way to do it is to make it a finished product. So I was scratching my head and saying that that is very difficult to do because as what you said, the juice there, the component, it's very difficult to control, So by chance, we came to know this FIRC, the Food Innovation Research Center by Singapore Polytechnic. They saw what we wanted, then they said, okay, could you let us try, And we said, yeah, of course. I was very pleasantly surprised that they actually complete the project within 3 months. They also shared with us the technique into the preservation and things like that, and introduced to us why the need of this aluminium bottle. Because this is actually, the aluminium bottle is actually the state of the art. It is not made in this region because of the shape, so the whole bottle is formed into one. So if we use glass, you can actually see some sedimentation, because the juice. So the overall appearance, it might not look as appealing from a marketing point of view, And that's where I think FIRC introduced us to saying that, why don't you try this aluminium bottle? We're very happy with it, even though it costs. But I think it is for a iconic product, Singapore Sling, I think is worthy of this bottle.
Mr. Chow is well on his way on putting Singapore Sling back on the world stage. And even though some Singaporeans have forgotten about the drink, he hasn't forgotten about them. In the next part, he tells us how he is getting Singaporeans reacquainted with the iconic cocktail.